Alright, hey, thanks for clicking on the video, and today we're going to do a little shop tour, as the title says. So last year I built this building myself without very much help at all. But one of the compromises is she really wanted a covered porch, so my wife got a covered porch and I got a wood shop. So let's go ahead and move on into the inside and check it out. All right, so here's the general layout. And it's pretty well lit. I got a really good deal on Black Friday, $127 for 10 8-foot LEDs, and they really cast a lot of light. So one of the early things I did was add a little bench when I walk in, especially in the winter. If I'm wearing boots, I can change into shoes and my vest. A little mini fridge with some water and soda I adopted after my daughter graduated from college. And I've got the DeWalt 735, kind of the go-to lunchbox planer that a lot of people have. For $1,000 a couple of years ago, I got this Delta cabinet saw. It works really well. I'm going to upgrade this eventually. That's a little out-feed table. That'll be a future video. I'm going to really upscale the size of the out-feed table. This one has the mobile base. In the old building, I had to move it around a lot. Now it's stationary, and I can put a more permanent out-feed table on it. I'll probably change this cabinet down here as well. Over here, I've got big stand-up air compressor that I use quite a bit. I got a really good deal on that. Christmas present a few years back. I don't use it quite enough, but hopefully I will in the future. And this here is actually where all my fasteners are stored. Screws, nails, etc. And this gem here is, I believe, a 1954 or 56 Delta Crescent 8-inch joiner. I did upgrade that also to the helical head, which I did on the 735. Crappy old chair that I like to sit in when I get tired. Dehumidifier. And then this, I picked this up for $300. It's a 2.5 horse Cyclone. I added the whole barrel assembly at the bottom. It came with a big bag, which kind of just pumped out a lot of dust actually. So I upgraded to a HEPA filter with a bag. There's a Cyclone inside this chamber at the top. I kind of designed all that. Overhead, you can see I built all my own blast gates, so those work well. This here is all my finishes and paints, etc. in there. I don't know why it makes sense. I put a metal cabinet. It feels like flammable should be in. It's not a flammable cabinet, but at least it's metal. In here I've got a little office space. And if anyone watches doesn't know, I do paint as well. One of my other hobbies. I did that recently. Up here I've got a bunch of rags. It's a bit of a mess, but over at the desk, my laptop and a laser engraver. I built this enclosure out of some excess material with a little computer fan, and I throw this thing in the window and it ventilates the smoke outside, so it keeps it nice and clean in here. A bunch of epoxy overhead here, and a drum sander that I ended up getting for free, which was, you can't beat the price, right? One of the first tools my dad ever bought me, actually. $75, I think, is what he paid. I've used it a lot, actually. Picked this up a while ago. I don't use it quite enough. Wood turning is a lot of fun. Whenever I do it, I wonder why I don't do it more often, but I do have, instead of a bench top, I did do an upright. At the time, it felt like a good idea. Do I need an upright? Probably not, but I'm happy with it. I did upgrade the table with this fence. I can loosen this handle up and crank the whole bed up and down from the front. It's pretty convenient. All my drills and stuff all organized in there. Over here is my clamp storage area. This whole thing is mobile, so I can wheel it around. It's a little heavier than I anticipated, but it does move around all right. So I'll wheel this thing out real quick here. You can see on the end I have some different supplies, squeeze clamps, bar clamps, strap clamps, etc. Over here, I did buy this cabinet, obviously. And this is actually foam anti-fatigue matting that I picked up at Harbor Freight for, I believe, $10. It's 2 layers deep. I cut that out on the laser, and it's nice and organized. I kind of like things that way. My pride and joy here in the top drawer, the only Festool tool I own, the 125. That's a really good sander. And my tool wall, everything I use kind of more often, or just things I think are really neat and I like to keep on display. Something a little frivolous, but I did add some LED lighting, a little silly accent down here, but it's a lot of fun. And in case anybody was wondering, DeWalt does not make a spindle sander, but I stuck that sticker on there just because I thought it was funny. That's actually a Ryobi. It works really well. Cabinetry, kind of burned all the front of it because I'm a bit of a nerd. And everything's relatively organized in here. I did add some lighting here, under cabinet lighting. And this is the whole miter station. Oversized, but I do cut a lot of 8-foot stock, so I needed it. Beneath, I have some lumber storage. Someday, I would like to have a dust extractor, but for now, I just have a 6 horsepower shop vac with a high efficiency filter. And then I made this diverter right here with magnets in it. So here I can vacuum with just this line. Over here, I can throw it on the spindle sander, and then most of the time I actually leave it to the left, which is for the miter saw. And then, I kind of missed the whole center. Another shop vac with another high efficiency filter on it. The Raycon bandsaw. I did end up buying, I believe it was $140 for the carbide tipped resaw blade. That is a phenomenal blade. It hurt when I bought it, but I'm glad I did. It's an excellent blade. Kind of where I glue everything up here. And then a router table I made quite a few years back. And relatively inexpensive router bits, but they do work well and everything's pretty organized. Belt sander, combo disc sander. And then we turn around, and I made this. It was one of the first builds I ever did. I thought if I'm going to be a woodworker, I've got to have a traditional woodworking fence. Do I need it? No. But am I glad I made it? Absolutely. It is rock solid. It does not move. It takes 4 men and a mule to move it, and I use it all the time. So the last thing is we'll move down here. And there's a bit of a awning or lean-to on the back of this thing that runs the entire length of the building. And I've got lumber racks in here for all my rough sawn. Everything's organized by species. I do have some beautiful walnut that I'm saving. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it's just so wide, and someday I'm going to make something cool out of it. A bunch of cutoffs on the end. And then as you look down, a lot more lumber racks. I have white oak and black oak here, more walnut overhead, poplar, aspen, cedar, pine, etc. And then off to the left here, these 2 doors slide right open. So now I can get lumber in and out fairly well. Yep, the sun's not cooperating. So anyhow, that's the whole shop. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Maybe it gave you some ideas Maybe you have some ideas where I could improve on it. But I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.